Secondary break, Tar Heel Takes. We are back, a little off-season show. It is a special off-season show. I'm Graham Bunn, former D1 point guard, diehard Carolina fan. Got my two guard, my better half, Mr. Zach Talitsky, my brother who is a UNC alum and pretty much my sounding board for all things Carolina basketball. Special show today. It's the off-season. We got a lot of portal news, new roster. The guys are together. Workouts have started. Summer and off season is, it's been well in full effect, but we are really getting going. And we got a former player joining the show today. As per Zach Talitsky's request, Mr. Kenny Williams going to be joining us here momentarily. But pretty pumped. You and I were talking about it off camera, and I was like, man, we might as well just start the show. The guys already in the gym. We're going to get a first look at, or I guess a first report, scouting report maybe on the guys, and pretty close. Maybe it was a week and a half since they've had their camp and scrimmages and blue-white games and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to get Kenny's take on what's going on in Chapel Hill, how the new guys look, both the transfer and the freshmen. And, I thought Kenny offered some great insights when you had him on last year, just around the tone of the summer camps and how hungry the team was. And so I'm curious to hear how it's going this year, and hopefully, a lot of good culture building going on.
Yeah. Did you happen to catch any of the highlights that, I don't want to say they were leaked because they were obviously being filmed and there was fans there. I'm looking forward to hearing about it. When I was in college, I'm not sure that was, I don't want to say legal, but I don't know if they allowed. There was some rule where we couldn't have 5 active players in the gym at one point in time with coaches involved because it constituted a practice. It seemed like there was coaches there. It seemed like it was just kind of open, which I think is great. If you have the time and the guys have the ability to be in town during the summer, if they're not in summer school, to get better, especially with the portal. I thought it was great.
Yeah, there's some silly NCAA rules that's up there with them. In a world where players can go overseas and play or play in the G League, we need guys developing, and we need, it doesn't make any sense over the summer, to have these like silly, antiquated rules about what constitutes practice. So hopefully NCAA is getting rid of that stuff, especially in this era where there don't really seem to be rules. So to keep that one and prevent guys from getting, coaching over the summer seems pretty asinine to me.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a big day here at the secondary break because we got our boy. The NIL package must have come through. He agreed to come back, and I would have lost that bet. Mr. Kenny Williams, national champion, 3-year starter, all around good guy, team captain, defensive leader. You could go on and on, but just all around great guy has joined the show. Kenny, what's up, man? Thanks so much for being here.
Man, I appreciate you having me back, man. I'm good. I cannot complain at all.
Man, it's a big time. First of all, we'll do, how did the season end up for you? Because you're still actively playing. You're a pro, which I don't think anybody watching this, we're all the Carolina family, is going to be shocked by. The last time we talked, it was like 4 a.m, and you had just played a game, and you were also playing a game that night. So hopefully the schedule is not as rigorous for you to come hang with us.
No, it's good, man. We finished up well, man. So I don't know how many people know how it works over there. So I'll do a short little explanation. Every country has their domestic league, and then there are teams that'll play European leagues. Mm-hmm. And there's 4 European leagues, I believe. So I played in the Champions League. It's one of the better European leagues. It's like you got Champions League and Euro Cup, who are kind of neck and neck. Of course, Euro League is the highest. So we actually went to the Final Four in Champions League. Granted, we finished 4th, but going to the Final Four is a big thing. And then in the Greek League, we finished, we got 3rd place. So it was a really good year, really successful year. We played well as a team. I think I did really well as an individual. So hopefully just trying to build on that in the future. I'm just back in Chapel Hill now, man, just getting my workouts in, hanging out, getting ready for next year because, it's already July. So, things kind of go pretty fast from here. You sign your contract. Next thing you know, enjoy my time that I have back in the States and make sure I get to see everybody and spend some time with everybody that I need to.
Yeah, when I came back to Europe, I stayed stateside. I went over there. I came back and was like, "It's pretty nice over here. I'll stay." I know that schedule is a grind, and I should have done this right when you joined. This is my brother, Zach Talitsky, UNC alum and big fan of yours. We are just so excited to be able to chop it up, talk a little bit about the offseason and portal and how college has kind of changed and the programs have changed. You got an up close and personal look at the team not too long ago, so I know we'll get into that. But Zach's one of my favorite humans on the planet and has just been kind of my guiding force in my Carolina basketball journey as a fan my entire life since meeting him. So it'd be great to have him on with you and just wanted to introduce you guys.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too, Kenny. Hey, I got a question for you. What's the craziest gym that you've had to play in overseas, and like how does that compare to like a hostile college environment? I assume it gets nuts over there.
It gets bad. So I'll say college isn't touching it. When you get to like the top of the top, like the most hostile environments, college can't hold its shoestring, man. It's unbelievable. So I'll tell you the craziest one.
We lost you.
We were playing in a 3-game series. So we had away game, home game, away game. We went over there. We lost game 1, and then we won game 2 at home. But game 2 at home was crazy because a couple of their fans came to watch the game, and our fans kind of like basically harassed them. Like, I mean, I saw fireworks. I saw, I'm on the bench in the middle of the game, and all I see is someone pop a flare and throw it at their fans. It got.
I got raised my game the next time I go to Chapel Hill. I'm not bringing it hard enough, apparently.
It's crazy. We won game 2, and game 3 we have to go back there. And so leading up to that game, they're like, "Oh, it's a war." Like it's war, like that kind of stuff. And as soon as we walked out, their fans were already there. Their fans were cussing at us, screaming at us, yelling at us. So we're doing our stretching, and we're going from sideline to sideline. And I had a kid, couldn't have been no more than 10 years old, flip me to double bird. So it's like when you see stuff like that and you see, the fan section pop the flares and it's smoky, it's fiery, everybody's saying the same chant throughout the whole game. It's just like you just can't compare it to college because it's just so much more tame. Like those people over there are super passionate and they're allowed to do a lot more. So it gets pretty rowdy, pretty hostile over there.
What would come closest? Well, I mean, obviously, you just elaborated very well that it can't touch it. But if one game, atmosphere, national title game, Final Four at Duke, if anything were to come closest in your experience in college as a Tar Heel, what would have been?
I would say,
I was surprised to hear the feedback about Blacksburg. People were like, "Man, it's tough."
That place is Blacksburg is different, man. They really get into it. Okay. The best. I'll go on a little bit of the tangent. The best thing about Blacksburg is if someone fouls out, they do the left, right, left. So they're waiting for the person to sit down.
Yeah.
Some people will just stay standing for a little bit just to mess with them.
Yeah, make them earn it.
Blacksburg's tough though. I'll say, I mean, the easy answer is Duke because you get the student section right there across the sideline there, and they can go ahead and say whatever they want, and that always makes it better. You got the banter with the fans. Some players will go back at the fans. Some let it happen. But just the interaction. That's really what college basketball is about: is the interaction with the fans, whether it be home or away. So I mean that kind of comes the closest. I mean, you've got that. That's the easy answer, of course.
Yeah.
With their fans being so close, man, you can't really compare it to anything else.
Yeah, right on top of you, which is good. Did you play better angry? So for the most part, I felt like I was a fairly nice person, and hopefully I am a nice guy. But whenever it got a little bit past just the normal, we're going to roll the ball out there and let's play, and people either got personal or the fans got personal, I always, for some reason, played better when I guess my manners went out the door. Like I didn't really care if someone liked me or didn't like me, or if I'm knocking a guy off a spot or something. How did you react to that? Because I'm fairly sure one of your better games, 20 plus, came against Duke. I can't remember if it was home or away.
Mm-hmm.
How did you react to that? Do you play better when you get a little bit angry?
I think
you seem like a nice guy. Like, I don't know, like, your business as usual.
I was just about to say, I think I do. It just takes a lot to get me there, man. Like I try to stay as even keel as possible, because you've got that thought in your head that you don't want them to see you get flustered or see that they get under your skin.
Yeah.
So I just try to keep it even keel as much as possible. But if people start talking to me, then I'll say a couple things back and whatnot. But if people get you fired up, you give somebody a little bit more motivation.
Yeah.
In the summer games, do people talk?
Sometimes, and they definitely in the camp game. Not necessarily the regular pickup games, but the camp game means a little bit more. You got more people watching. Guys really, the competitive side really comes out then. So there'll be some trash talking camp games. I'll give you a camp game funny story, man. So this is going into I want to say my senior year. And the former players they've got Marcus, they've got Justin, Jawad Williams, they've got a crew. So the camp game goes to 70, 35 is halftime. We're maybe up 11 at halftime, something like that. And
oh boy.
So we're going back to our bench, and KJ Smith said something to someone over there. I don't know who he said it to, but all you heard was, "Oh, what was that, KJ? Okay, bet."
Oh,
and it didn't get as bad as you would initially think. Like, we still competed, but they ended up beating us. It was not with the first half. We're like, KJ, did you have to say something? It's a funny story because, like, I played with Justin and Marcus, and then I'm playing against them, and KJ says whatever he says. So it's just funny. We've got a story to tell. But yeah, those games get really competitive, and people treat that like it's an actual game.
Yeah, we're going to get into the camp games because I know they went down. Obviously, I saw you participated, which was nice and really cool camp photo. Anybody that loves Carolina and Carolina basketball, some great names and some fan favorites were there. Before we do that, though, just a recap, because I didn't get a chance to talk to you at the end or conclusion of the season. How do you feel about last year's team, what they were able to accomplish? Obviously, we came up short, and honestly, I think we're a made dunk by Baycott away from making the Elite Eight. I don't think people realize how close we were to winning that game, and missed shots happen. But how are you feeling about the guys? How are you feeling about the team? Hubert Davis, I know he's your guy. you got to be incredibly proud of what the team was able to bounce back and accomplish last year.
Yeah, man, it was incredible to see. Coming off of the disappointment that was the season before, and for them to come back and bounce back the way that they did, and to win the ACC regular season, which is never easy over a 20-game stretch of a season. And then things happen in the tournament, man. Like some things you gotta live with. And some things happen. It's just basketball. He's making 15 of them. So like those things you just gotta chalk up, and it's just part of the game. But I'm proud of him, man. Getting to the Sweet 16 is not easy. Like, everybody knows how hard the tournament is, no matter what your seed is. Everybody's playing for their lives. So, to be in that position, it's just one of those things where things can go one way or they can go the other. And sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't. You go back to 2017, and we had a couple bounces go our way. You call it luck, call it whatever you want, call it basketball, but sometimes it just goes the opposite way. And at the end of the day, the things that you can control, and you can't control whether the ball goes in the basket every time, or some other bounces going your way. So you're just proud of them. They did some great things all year. They fought to the end, and like I said, some things, some bounces just don't go your way, and you learn from it. You get in the gym and try to work on those things, and the things that you can't control, hopefully the next year you shoot a better percentage. Hopefully the next year you're able to make better decisions. But incredibly proud of the work that they put in, and the product that they put on the floor. Especially with, so many new guys on the team, so many guys. For them to mesh as well as they did, I don't think it's it can be overstated how well they brought it together.
Zach, you want to jump in?
Have you had a chance to see much of the freshmen who are coming in over the summer? And if so, has anything stood out to you so far?
Well, I'll just say, man, you got the guys that are getting most of the hype, and they're as advertised. I'll say that. There's going to be some kind of a learning curve for them, but when it comes to just rolling the ball out and letting them play, they are as advertised. The big thing is getting put into a system and thrive in that system. So I think that'll be the adjustment. But when it comes to those guys just playing basketball, and I'm talking Ian and Drake specifically. Yeah. Those guys can go. And there's no doubt in my mind at some point they'll figure it out and they'll flourish. And then I think the last freshman is James.
Yeah, James.
He's good. He's gonna be good. The strength difference though is where freshman bigs kind of struggle. So you got a guy like Vin. You're going against a guy like Vin or a guy like Jay Wash who's worked with Jonas going on his third year. So he's stronger than James, and he's able to use his body and better than James probably can right now. So it's not as easy. It's not coming as easy for him. But everybody has to figure it out, and he will. He'll get in there with Jonas. I've already seen him in there with Jonas. So again, I mean, he'll figure it out. Once that strength comes in, there's no doubt in my mind that he'll be a good serviceable player for us.
Yeah, James reminds me a lot of Jalen Washington when he came to the program. You know, a lot of the same skill set, a lot of the same body frame. So I think that they'll definitely benefit going against each other. How is Jalen? How's his health? I think he was a scratch for the first game, but it wasn't anything serious. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean he's good. I think it was just an ankle that they wanted to look out for. But he's good, and
I mean we need him healthy.
Yeah.
Like
and
I'm a guy that cannot get hurt.
Jalen, man, I think he's gonna take the mindset that he has going into the season. You know, just in pickup games, he's trying to be a little more assertive, a little more aggressive. And that's just, you know, not necessarily things that you would see his first 2 years. Most of his game was really finesse. You know, he wasn't really giving guys shoulders and bumping guys and things like that. And you can already see that now. So he knows what he needs to do. And he's one of the ones that I'm most excited about seeing how they take their jump and how they improve going into the season. Because he's got so much, he's got a lot of skill. So he can use that to his advantage. And then you throw in the physicality piece and, you know, there's no telling where he can take his game and how big of a jump he can make.
Yeah, we were talking about that on a prior show. It's a little bit old school in the era of all these transfers to have a guy who's played but hasn't gotten major minutes, and now he comes in his junior year and he's expected to be the guy, you know, at the 5 and make that leap. But it feels very much like the Carolina basketball that I grew up with. You know, where you kind of wait your turn, you start seeing some minutes your first and second year, you get used to the system, and then your junior and senior year, you know, you're sort of ready to come in and be a major contributor. So I'm excited to see him and see some of the other guys. And I know we didn't get, you know, some of the 5s that we were rumored to be looking at, but I'm excited by the bigs we have coming back. And I think it's kind of cool just to as a fan, just get to see that progression and not always try to over recruit, you know, in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changing. And it's good to see, you know, again, like you said, that progression over the 4 years.
Kenny can't relate to that because he started as a sophomore. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I got lucky, man.
What?
Yeah, I wasn't waiting. I wasn't waiting. It's my time. It's my time. I've been here a year now. My time.
Look, if Theo wouldn't have got hurt, that would have been his spot. But yeah, man, I got lucky. I got lucky to be able to start for the majority of 3 years. So, you know, I took on the mindset of a lot of guys that came before me and just, you know, being ready when your name's called and just trying to be better than you were the year before in some way. So yeah, you know, that's where I got lucky. And I got lucky to be on some big time teams with some big time players that made it a lot easier to be able to do what I do best.
Yeah, I love it. How was and you don't have to answer this, you know, if this is getting a little bit too behind the curtain, but Jalen's mindset, it's got to be very challenging to deal with the offseason. He's put in his work, he's put in his time, and I would imagine that Hubert and the staff did a wonderful job communicating with him. Look, you know, we're looking for depth. This has nothing to do with not believing in you, because I know they have full faith in him. But how was his mental and emotional state with, okay, we had some guys on campus that play my position, and you know that's very challenging. I transferred in college. I had to figure out a better situation for myself. Was he doing well? Did he feel like he was optimistic about the season? Because I'm rooting for him. I love a kid that's not hiding from the smoke.
Yes, I haven't talked to him, but like I said, the approach that he's taken in practices and pickup games, you can kind of see where his mental is.
Yeah.
Perspective. It's like, okay, I see these guys are here. I really gotta step my game up, and I think that's what he's doing. Nice. And I'm happy for him, man. It's just, you know, nowadays guys are wanting to jump ship, and you know, some cases rightfully so, but you know, it's just good to see someone embrace it and embrace some competition a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Zach, what's up with Oscar? What's going on over there?
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to stay on mute here until it calms down.
Hey, Kenny, how'd you feel about because the portal now is a part of college basketball, and I think it's never going to go away. Obviously, it's been kind to us over the last year and a half. Looks like we've got some really talented guys coming in. I don't know much about Van Allen Lubin, and I've looked at the Cade Tyson kid's highlights. He's a shooter, and I love his size. How are you feeling about those guys? Did they mesh well? Did you get along with them? Seem cool?
Yeah, man, they're really cool, man. It seems like they're meshing well with the team, both on and off the court. Again, it just comes down to, you're getting put in a new system. How are you gonna find your way and find your role? But they're older, so you expect them to be able to pick it up a little bit sooner. Vin, he's just a physical big. So It's not hard to find space for a big that's physical. But he's not just a brute. He can also step out and shoot the 15-foot jumper, even out to three, I believe.
Right.
And then you throw a taller shooter, knockdown shooter. And there's always a space in the offense for that, just because of the gravity that they force to them. You can't give them too much room, or else we're going back the other way. So it'll be good. I'm excited to watch a couple of the practices coming up. I don't know when they are, but I would imagine they've got a couple here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see how everything works out, and hopefully those guys are able to get at least a foundation of what the team's going to look like by the time they head out for their summer break.
Yeah. What about the returning guys? You notice anybody making a big leap?
Aside from Jalen, you've got the known and RJ.
Yeah.
What RJ wants to do.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Felt that this year. I think everybody else is just improving on what they did last year, man. You got Seth. He's just working on being more aggressive in the offense, and then you don't got to worry about other than Seth is going to be Seth. Who else is returning?
Elliott
has been shooting the skin off the ball all summer since I've been here. I've been here about 2 weeks.
Like to hear that.
Yeah.
It's so funny, man, because it's a Carolina thing. Not many guys come to Carolina as a freshman and shoot the ball well, for whatever reason. But his confidence is just high. He's stepping into his shots. He's not hesitating. It's like, all right, you're going to give me this shot, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to make it. You see him round the corner. Now it's like, okay, I'm not a freshman anymore. I know what's going on, and I've just got to take what they give me. It's like in his head, it's like he knows he can shoot. They just maybe weren't going in last year. So hopefully that confidence, he takes that confidence in the next season, and, you won't have any more games like Alabama where, teams are able to put a 4-man on him and play off and essentially take Armando out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you got Lebo, Hubert, and Marcus on the bench. Like, shooting is something. Hey, we'll figure it out. If you're a player, come here. We'll take care of the shooting. So I wasn't worried about that. I was like, man, he's got the best coaches in the country when it comes to shooting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the times, man, it's just mental. It's the confidence part of it, man. It's just form the best shot, but if mentally he doesn't feel like he can make the shot, then he won't make the shot. And that's plain and simple. That's about as easy as you can put it, man. It's just, and then again, that freshman year, man, it's all new. It's so easy for your confidence to get shot. And it's 10 times harder for you to bring it back up after it's been shot as a freshman. So I expect a lot from Elliott this year. He makes everybody's job easier. You go down the line from, just talking last year from RJ, Cormac, Harrison to Armando. Everybody's job was easier because of Elliott and his ability to get guys open, get them the ball on time, and his willingness to do it. So I'm excited about Elliott, man. Just the growth at being the most important one. So you always want to pay closer attention to the freshmen and freshmen going into sophomores, because that's the year where guys kind of make their biggest improvement, I guess.
Nice. What else you got, Zach?
So I guess in the preseason ranking so far, we're kind of coming in around 10 or 15. I think it seems to be consensus, which I guess would put us at maybe like a 3 seed, kind of that range. What's your sense? Would you take the over or the under on that now, based on what you're seeing over the summer, quality of the team chemistry? Does that feel about right to you, or you think we're over or under ranked?
Yeah, it's hard to say, man, with not having seen all the. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I don't even know what those rankings are. I don't think they should put rankings out until after a couple games have been played.
Especially now, because all these teams are brand new. It's like half the teams have 5 and 6, 7 new guys.
Exactly. But it's probably right on par. That 5 to 10 range, will be in there somewhere. So if they put us anywhere in there, I think that's right. You got the teams who are a little more proven, the UConns, the Alabamas. I don't even know how good UConn will be, because they lost a couple big pieces. But
they brought in some monsters. They're gonna be good. They're gonna, unfortunately, and I'm not a hater, but I'm a little bit. I'm over that. I'm over it.
But you got the Alabamas and things like that, and it just so happens, man, by December we'll have by ACC play we'll have a good gauge of how good our team is, because of the schedule that we put on in front of us. I mean, we got Alabama there, going to Kansas, could potentially play UConn and Maui, I believe. So it's just like, all right, no matter what this ranking says, you're gonna have the chance to prove yourself pretty early on in the season. So,
like Cat Williams said, we get on this line, boy. That's when we're gonna find out.
Let's get between these lines. Let's lace it up, and let's see how good you are and how good we are. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, Zach and I were at the Alabama game, Sweet 16. So December 4th, man, maybe we get a little bit more comfy and we go to the Dean Smith game, the Smith Center. How about that, Zach?
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think that's going to really show us where we're at as far as the first half of the season, because, again, everyone has mentioned the teams are all new, and Alabama returns some really big pieces. I mean, I think Sears coming back changes the dynamic of that team, just like RJ coming back changes the upside for us. I think you put a National Player of the Year candidate on your team. Winning a national title or making it to a Final Four is never out of the mix. And obviously with Mark Sears coming back, he'll be a National Player of the Year candidate. They've got Grant Nelson back, I believe. And then, the Cliff kid that we kind of missed on, but that's okay. We've got our front court going. They're going to be tough. So by December, I think we're going to get a real good glimpse at what kind of work we need to do and where we stand with the work that we've done leading up to December 4th. So I think that's going to be a barometer game for sure.
Yeah. That one and Kansas, man.
Kansas is loaded. Kansas might be, I guess you could make a case for either the best roster in America as far as projections.
And because I don't really pay attention in the off season much, but I just know you go in the Allen Fieldhouse, you're gonna have a dogfight on your hands, and That's what you play for. You play for those games, especially here. You want coach to schedule the biggest games. So that's hopefully they're looking forward to it already. And like you said, barometer game. Let's see how good we are at this point in the year, or how good we can be.
Yeah. Zach was good about this last season, and I was late to the bus. I mean, I think you have favorites on your team and guys that you just really enjoy to see excel. I appreciate what Jalen Withers brings to the team. Obviously, the Alabama game, there was some ups, there were some downs, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Zach was a big Withers supporter. He got me on board early of, how important he is to the roster. I think he becomes even more important to the roster with his versatility because we're a little bit thinner in the front court.
Yep.
But how was he looking in the games? Because I would love to see all of our guys improve. And sometimes guys, they're able to do that, and sometimes their role changes and they got to learn new things. How's he looking?
Well, he'll obviously have a bigger role this year with Harrison gone. He'll have to step up, and I think he knows that too. These guys have exit meetings and all kinds of meetings with the coaches to understand what they need to do in the summer. And he works, man. The one thing about this team, man, they're all always in the gym. It's not anybody that beg might be a little too much of a stretch, but it's not anybody you have to tell to get into the gym. They're all here willingly. They're all putting in more work than what's required of them, and that's the first positive. Get better. As far as Jalen Withers specifically, man, I think he can be an X factor kind of piece. And late in the season, he kind of was in a couple of those tournament games.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of lifted us over the hump that we need to get over. So, you see a guy play like that at the end of the season and you see things that work. You just want to build on that. Yeah. And I'm hoping for him, it's more of a let the guys that you play with, because you're playing with a guy like Elliott and RJ, who are great playmakers. Let them make your life easy.
Yeah.
You just bring some energy, bring effort, and you don't really have to do too much. You can get 8 points just playing off of RJ and Elliott and a couple of effort buckets, like a steal and a get out, a steal and a dunk, fast break dunk, offensive rebound, you get 2 assists just playing off of RJ and Elliott, and that's 8 points in the book right there. So, you just you want guys to make the game, let the game be as simple as it is and not make it more complicated than it needs to be. I think that's the big thing for a lot of guys, especially when you're playing with guys that like an RJ and Elliott that are such good playmakers, really good with the ball in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do too much. You just play in the offense and you'll get your opportunities because of those guys and the gravity that they bring to the floor.
All right, we're not going to keep you too much longer. Zach, I'm going to let you go first. I've got 2 heavy-hitting questions, and you can say you don't want to answer one of them, but you got to answer one out of the 2. Zach, okay. I'm going to let you go first. Put him on the hot seat. Give him a tough one, and if you don't, I have 2, but then he doesn't get to say no to one of them.
Why don't you go first? I'll try to think of something.
All right. First one, Kenny, if you had to right now, and I don't think anybody get mad at you, but they might. I don't know. People are competitive. If you had to project a starting 5 for the roster right now, who would you go with and why?
Well.
Now, you can say no to this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you the next one. You might want to be like, okay.
I'll answer it. I think solidified is RJ Elliott for sure, the 1 and 2. That's pretty solidified.
And before you move on, can RJ get better? I feel like there'd be a lot of pressure because he was so good last year. Like it's hard to imagine him having a better year. But I'm sure he's a gym rat, and I see him working on his game. But like in my mind, it's hard to fathom like how does he get better. I think he was like second in the nation, only to Cade in catch and shoot unguarded shots. You know what I mean? Like it's
that's tough, especially for RJ, because the only way you could say he gets better is without somebody who watches and knows what to watch for.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll say decision wise, and this is not to say that RJ's a bad making bad decisions at all.
Yeah, of course.
But as a point guard or whatever you want RJ playing, you just a better floor game, I guess. And his floor game was great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Being nitpicky.
Yeah, of course.
And
when you're that good, you got to be nitpicky.
Yeah,
like when you're that good, like it's the margin of advancement is very small.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's me saying he can't get better numbers wise. I mean, of course he can, but it's hard to replicate it over the course of a season like he did last year. I mean, what he did last year, and he brought it every game, literally. That's like unheard of. So
unheard of. That was my thing. Like,
if you're talking numbers, the only thing I would say he can get better with is get your assist numbers up. But like, come on, dude. Like you got Elliott right there. You don't need to have average 5-6 assists. So like, I don't know, man. It's tough. I wouldn't say he's in a tough spot, but he's gonna have so much hype around him for what he did, and you just hope he doesn't become too much. He can just go out there and enjoy his last year at Carolina.
Yeah, nice.
I would sign up for last year again if that's an option.
Me too.
I mean,
I'd take it.
And that's enough for me.
Yeah. He's National Player of the Year. He does that again. He's National Player of the Year. I mean, Zach Edey is kind of like when Jay came out and they drafted Yao Ming. Like it's just it is what it is. All right, so you got Elliott and RJ, and now it gets interesting because I feel like you could have penciled those two in across the board.
Now, I mean, I would go. I think I'm gonna say Ian right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Ian. He's too dynamic not to have out there with those guys. And the good thing about it is, and again, I'm blanking, so me. But you still got scoring punch off the bench with a guy like Drake, Cade coming off the bench, those guys. So yeah, I think it'll be Ian at the 3, and then at the 4. I would say Jay Witt.
Okay.
It was between him and Cade Tyson.
Sure.
I think because at the start of the season, he'll probably have the upper hand, knowing what his role is and where he needs to be, and the system and things like that. So I'll say he's got the upper hand in that regard. And then finish it off with Wash at the 5, I think.
Yeah.
Again, knows the system, is wanting to step up. He's shown he's wanted to step up. So I think it'll end up. I think that'll be the 5 to start the season as a starting 5.
That's a tough one. All right. Well, we appreciate you playing along with that. I know that's challenging. Jack, you got anything?
Well, just following up on that. So thinking about the season, I think it's going to put more pressure on the coaching staff to get the rotations and the minutes right, because the people you didn't mention, I guess we've got Seth isn't in that 5, Drake's not in that 5, Cade's not in that 5, Van Allen Lubin's not in that 5, right? I'm leaving some guys out. I think High's not that 5. So do you think this is a relatively young staff, right? If you look around the country, Hubert has only been a head coach, for a few years, and we've got a relatively young staff. Like, do you think that there's sort of another gear? I mean, because I felt like last year the staff took a major step forward in terms of team building and chemistry, particularly on the defensive end. Like it seems like that staff is gelling too, and so it's going to be interesting to see how this staff evolves, particularly with this type of roster where they may have to change things up game to game, or there may have to be a lot more fluidity around like what those lineups are. I think it's going to be an interesting challenge next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do have another step that they can take. I mean, they only finished. This is only their 3rd year, and there's every year is a different challenge, or has been a different challenge for them.
Yeah.
Like you think of year 1, so like it's going to be a challenge regardless. Year 2, okay, now you've got these expectations of being the number 1 team in the country. You just went to the national championship. How do you follow that? This past season, okay, now you were the most disappointing team that we've had. So how do you bounce back from that? That's and how do you get these guys to play well enough, to gel, and you've got all of these newcomers coming in. How do you get these guys to play well together? And now this year, I think it's okay. You've had a typical season of Carolina standards. This is like okay, a somewhat regular year. It's a little underwhelming, but you did great things throughout the year.
Yeah.
Now you've got a whole new crop of people. Your cornerstone is gone in Armando. Step up, and how do you get the best out of the roster that you have this year without someone that is going to be 15 and 10 in the book? You're going to have RJ that's going to be 18 and 20. So you can lean on that. But, in the ACC, it's such a physical game. How do you make up for it not having your brute and Armando down there setting the paint? And, it's going to be a challenge. It's a challenge for them. But they're equipped for it, man. They've got some great guys on staff, some smart basketball minds on staff that, they know how to manipulate things. They know how to, if they see a skill set, get the most out of that skill set. So I'm interested to see how the heads come together on this roster, because every roster is different, and this is definitely a different one than what we're accustomed to seeing at Carolina, especially being here for 5 years. So it's going to look a little bit different.
All right, I got one more for you, and then we're going to let you go. But we appreciate your time, man. You're a legend. We'd love to have you on if schedule permits during the season, but we could not be more grateful for the time you've already given us, brother. You're the man.
Man.
Also, we got the 2017 banner up here behind you just because we love you so much.
Yes,
all
sir.
right. If you had to give us an all-time favorite Tar Heels list, give us your Mount Rushmore. Could you do it?
Mount Rushmore, my favorite?
Yeah, just your favorite. Doesn't have to be best, but your favorite.
All right, so I'm going.
You can either do that or give us your best. If you were putting together your best Carolina lineup to go against, you always see these alumni games. Who would win this? Either one of those, you can do either.
So I'm gonna do my Mount Rushmore favorites.
All right, amazing.
You got for sure.
I missed that. Did you? You broke up on me. Who did you say? Who'd you start with?
Wayne Ellington.
Okay, Wayne. All right.
Wayne Ellington for sure. That's about the time I started watching Carolina. So that's why that team is probably my favorite. So I'm going to Wayne Ellington.
He was a problem.
Yeah, he was.
Amazing, very underrated NBA career too. Very underrated.
Yeah. This one is based off of spending time with them while I was in school, but Rasheed Wallace.
Okay. I see Rasheed from time to time, and I always give him a go Heels when I see him. He's always like, man, who is this kid?
I love Sheed, man. He's such a good guy. Then I'm going to go Kendall Marshall.
Ooh, man, he doesn't break his wrist. There's another championship in Chapel Hill, but story for conversation for a different time.
And that is because we both played for Boo Williams. And him going to North Carolina. The one thing I always remember about Kendall Marshall, as a high school kid, this is a guy that I'm looking up to. And there was some tweet about me, and all he did was quote the tweet and put hashtag BWSL, which is Boo Williams Summer League.
Yeah.
And that just made my day.
So
he'll always be one of my favorites. And it's cool, man. Like, again, I'm going on a tangent. I'm sorry. But
no, please.
Just being able to be around these guys who you grew up watching, who are your favorite players that played at Carolina, just being able to spend time with them is really cool. And, you know, that whole family thing is just a different aspect of Carolina.
Yeah, definitely.
So I've got
one more. You got one more.
Sheed, Kendall. And I'll stay in that era of years, and I'll just go Danny Green.
Danny, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I love the energy. Mm-hmm. You know, you think about Danny, you think about you know, the jump around dance before the game start. But he brought it on the court, man, and then he was able to carve out a great career. So yeah, I mean, you can see the influence that little era of years had on me. Yeah. But that's when I first started watching, man, and first started really paying attention. So that team and those players will always be my favorite. But you know, I had to throw Sheed and Kendall in there. Just for, you know, personal things. So yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore favorites. Nice. I think I'll go.
Nice. All right. Well, we appreciate it, brother. But you're the man. You got to hang tight for us for just 1 second, but I want to make sure that we thank you for your time. Zach, I'll let you reiterate, but please, open door policy, Kenny, anytime you want to be here. We're honored to have you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Kenny. Great to meet you.
Great to meet you guys. Great to meet you. I appreciate you guys always, man. I'll be back whenever you have me.